Okay, this is definitely our geekiest topic so far, but it's going to be a lot of fun. Check it out. We're going to talk about the GPS exchange. And from a creator standpoint, from the standpoint of somebody who wants to create a route that you absolutely intend other people to follow. I'm going to give you a really involved example, and then I'm going to give you a really simple one. All right, let's begin. So this is the GPS exchange. We are doing this from my account, so this is all very real. I can browse the exchange. That's what an end user would do. That is not what the creator is going to do. The creator has to do more with the offerings and then the income should that person choose to monetize in this way. You can add adventures as an individual, so I could do it as myself or as an organization. That's the way that I do it. I'm going to scroll down on my page here and you can see the organizations that I'm the administrator for. So we're going to go into Dirt Chimps shortly. And we're going to start with Epic GPS Adventures, a not-for-profit that I'm part of. I click on that, the page is going to change. It's going to go to an organization account. This is pretty simple looking because you don't need a lot of tools as an organization just yet. Under the GPS Exchange, I'm going to go to this offerings. So take it all in. There's a bit to look at here. Let's just do a really high-level overview here. We're in the exchange. We have 4 different rows here. Each of these columns has a header that tells us information about how many downloads, for example, or the average rating. This has not been monetized. It's a not-for-profit that does generate income, but not in this way. Over here on the far right, we have the last update and whether or not it's published. Published means visible to the outside world. So only 3 of the 4 here are published. I'd like to go into the Kootenay CDR, which stands for Canadian Dual Sport Route. There's also an Okanagan one. And then down here, we have an inventory of all the campsites that are in southern BC. So that's a really different one because that's just a whole bunch of waypoints. Let's go up to the Kootenay CDR. Okay, I warned you, this is a little bit geeky, right? First of all, take it all in. Just kind of look around the screen. We have a whole bunch of tabs across the top. And we'll take a look at those shortly. The map on the right is obviously beautiful and shows a really interesting route with options and colors. Let's systematically approach this though. We can give it a name. We can give our adventure a description, where it is, what regions it covers, the distance. So this one is almost 1,000 miles. It's multiple days from 3 to 5 or 6 days, depending on how fast or slow you want to go. There's a main peak difficulty, and then there are alternate routes. You can choose to level up, and that's going to take you into the 4s in this case. If you ever need to look at the difficulty rating system, then you can click on these information boxes. Oh, we should have the website in here for Epic GPS Adventures. I'll add that later. You don't want to watch me type. When people are searching for adventures like this, they might have a certain type of moto in mind, like a street motorcycle or a Jeep or an adventure bike. These little toggles are you telling the world what the appropriate type of moto will be, and then you can add notes. Let's move to the top right. So we're seeing the map preview. We could click on this, it would go full screen. We could cruise around, zoom in, zoom out. You guys know how that works. This is more important down here. It's showing the availability and pricing, and I'll go into the back end where these are changed, but this is a subscription version right here for free for 12 months. In other words, so if an end user says, yes, I want to subscribe to this for 12 months, it will appear in TMA Mobile for 12 months. After that time, it just goes away. This is the same thing, free subscription, but forever. It will never go away unless they unsubscribe from it. And then finally, this is to download. So that's the traditional way of getting GPS tracks. Like you go to a website, you hit download, they come down to your computer, you get them on your phone, you import them into your application or onto your Garmin, right? Okay, this is kind of the last step, but it's showing a summary of all the different things that you've set up and if they're done. So in this case, it's pretty neat. You can see that the pricing set, the images, there are 5 of them in there. There are 2 videos, 1 guidebook, 72 tracks, and 216 waypoints. Okay, let's zoom to the top and look at some of those tabs. This is where pricing is established. It's really straightforward, but yes, you can absolutely put in fees here, and people do that, not many yet, but I think we're going to see an increasing amount of traction on this pay for a good adventure sort of system. I know I'm certainly willing to support it. When I go on a trip, I would love to pay $10, $15, $20 per day even to know that we're going to have a more predictable time. We're not going to end up on a cow path that is just not doable, right? Okay, so this is where you'd set up those 3 different things and the prices. Moving along, this is where images are uploaded. It's very straightforward. You would just go and add more images, and then that's going to add it to your offering so that people can see that. This is where we can add videos. So this video has been on YouTube for quite some time. It has a lot of views, actually. This is when I did it on my GS. It's a fantastic solo trip. This is where the tracks are managed. Now, this is a little bit more nerdy. This has been uploaded twice. One of them is published, one is not. The one that's not published could be deleted. It's a slightly dated version of it. So one of the beauties of the system is, as that route changes over time, and it will because of fires and land closures and things like that, I can update the tracks, update it in here, and for those people who did choose to subscribe, they won't even know. It just fixes itself on their phone. It's amazing. For those who download it, well, now they have an old version. They got to know to come back here and get the new and updated tracks. This particular page will be expanded on significantly by spring, in that you're going to be able to do some of the basic track editing right in TMA, especially just simple things like changing line colors, which represent difficulty. And here's our legend right here, and potentially a lot more. Let's go back to the top here. You can upload guidebooks, and this one has a really good guidebook. Now, this adventure is not monetized in the sense that you pay to subscribe to it or download it, but it is monetized in that it's sponsored. So sponsored by Outback Mototech, the guys who make skid plates and body armor for bikes like that one right there that's off screen. You can't see my GS. And also Dual Sport Plus out of Ontario. They are an online retailer. They have a physical shop as well, but because they're so far away, I know them as an online retailer. And they also provide tours across Canada. So thank you guys for your sponsorship, and you will see them recognized in that guidebook. We don't have any active trail reports, and if so, you'll be able to see them on here, their status, so they open, close, and so on. Update, so if I update the tracks, I can write an update, put it in here, and then the people who subscribe or who have downloaded will be notified in TMA. And then finally, on this last page, we have reviews. Looks like I'm the only one who's added a review so far. I got to get the message out there. This is a great way that the community can come back and give feedback to the creator, but also to the other people who are potentially downloading or subscribing to the tracks. If you're not used to using GPS editing software like Garmin's Basecamp, it is a big help for the end users when you have a complicated route like this. This is Garmin Basecamp. This is the Kootenay CDR. These are all the different little tracks down the left-hand side. So what we've done is we've gone in here, given them proper names, and applied a color which indicates the difficulty rating. So like I was saying, in time, you'll be able to do an increasing amount of that right in TMA. It's going to be great. Okay, so that's an example of a complicated, very good package, multi-day. That's kind of the gold standard. Let's go into another example. I'm going to click on that Moto app on the top left. I'm going to go back to my personal account here, and then we're going to switch over to the Dirt Chimps, which is our dorky YouTube channel. Down here, Dirt Chimps, we have a lot of offerings in here because, in part, every year when we do the adventure bike gathering, this is how people who come to our event get access to all the tracks that we're going to be riding. Okay, I'm going to go into the offerings here. You're going to see a busy page. This is a busy page because there are a lot of tracks in here. Okay, one of the tracks I wanted to show you, which I think is an especially cool track, and it's a great example. I'm going to go here into the KTM R1 from Salmon Arm. This is the 2024 version. So back in the day, like 4 or 5 years ago, KTM did have a rally here, and it was really cool. This was the kind of the A loop, and we have since gone out to ride it, but there's a lot that's changed. There's been a huge fire. There are fire guards. There's somehow the KTM route got permission to go through some private land. You can't do that. So we have remapped it and re-released it so that you can come and relive that amazing event. So very simple compared to the other one in terms of the track. So this is put out there. There's pricing. It does have images. We have a video of when we rode it. Our tracks are up here. This one doesn't have a guidebook. You really don't need it. It's a one-day trip. No reports, one update, and a couple of reviews. So that's great. It's very easy to pull these together. I would just suggest that if you're going to be offering something through the exchange, make sure your tracks are pretty clean. Like if you did some navigation errors, you can just go into Basecamp or Soon TMA and just get rid of those mistakes and then republish it. So that'll make it less confusing for other people. That is a quick tour of the GPS exchange and the back end. Hope you found it interesting. If you have any questions, comments, or feature requests, you can find my contact information right here at the bottom of every page. I'm Coach Scott, and thanks for using TMA.